Hello YouTube, hope you're all safe and well and that you've had a lovely holiday. Now it's back to learning. So for literacy this half term, we're going to look at doing something called a non-chronological report, and we're all going to base it on butterflies. Now I know in curriculum already in the last half term you looked at the life cycle of a butterfly, and that's going to come useful as we're going to use that knowledge to help us to write a report, a non-chronological report in fact, about butterflies. So before we do that, let's have a look at our spellings. Now for those children that are in Miss Hemingway's phonics group, you've been looking at alternative spellings in phonics, okay? So but for everybody else it's a new learning curve, so let's have a look. So we've learnt that the S or S sound can be spelt with an S or a digraph S, but the S or S sound can also be made with a K or a C if it comes before the vowels E, I and Y. Okay, got to remember that. Okay, if it comes before the vowels E, I and Y, we add a C. Okay, and it makes a S sound. Okay, it makes a soft S sound. Okay, so we have words such as cell, which is like a small room, erase, ice, face, and space. Okay, let's have a look at other alternatives. You might have this combination with the C and I, words such as city and circle. Okay, so that is the tricky way, because it looks like it's a K and it's not kitty or a kirkle. It just wouldn't sound right. Okay, so remember, if it comes before the vowels E, I and Y, we use the C spelling to make the S sound. Okay, let's have a look if there's another combination. There's a CY combination too. So words like spicy, bicycle, and fancy. And usually you might see that combination usually at the end of a word, like in spicy or fancy, or in bicycle it comes in the middle. Okay, so remember that. So when you want to know or think about what kind of spelling pattern I need to use and which sound I need to use, remember to look at the vowels. Vowels are the E, I and Y. Okay, so if the sound comes before it, then we use the soft S sound. Okay, spelling. Okay, so let's have a look at your spellings. Now, you will have space in your literacy book so you can write those down, okay? Remember to read the tricky word, write the tricky word, and then put it into a sentence. So you're ready? My turn first. So your first word is my turn first. Race. Your turn. My sentence is, I like to have a race with my friends. You have a little think and see if you could write a sentence. Remember to focus carefully on the correct spellings. Pause the video here if you need some time to write your sentence. Remember your capital letters, finger spaces and full stops. I want to see those. Okay? Okay, your second word then today is my turn, your turn. Ice. Okay, have a go at writing the tricky word and then put it into a sentence. For example, my sentence is, the ice is cold. Okay, you have a little think of what you could write for your sentence. Pause the video here if you need some time and then come back to it. Okay, so your grammar for this week is looking at different sentence types. So we're looking at exclamations and question marks. Now, we've heard about some of these things in year 1, but we've not really looked at them in too much detail. So today, I'm going to show you an exclamation. So I'm going to draw the symbol actually because it's not on here, funnily enough. So it just looks a bit like this with a little dot at the bottom. Okay, so it looks a bit like that. Okay, and exclamations are sentences that begin with what or how. They are full sentences which include a verb, and a verb is an action word like kick, jump, skip. and end with an exclamation mark. And they usually talk about or express feelings, okay? So that's where it's normally used. So for example, here's my sentence. How ridiculous of you to look in there. Okay, so it begins with how. It has a verb, and the verb in this sentence is look, and it ends with an exclamation mark right there. Okay, so that's an example. We're also going to look at questions, okay, so different types of sentences. So questions are sentences that ask something. They usually end with a question mark. Now we've used and we've looked at those quite a bit in year 1 and in year 2 so far. So questions can begin with lots of different question words. For example, how, what, when, where, when, who, why, are, is, and lots of more combinations. Okay, so for example, when are you going to the park? Okay, so I'm asking a question and I've ended it with a question mark because I'm asking somebody something. Okay, so it needs an answer. You need to say what time you are going to the park. Okay, so remember those two different types. So some tips for you here. Okay, so exclamations are sentences that begin with what or how and are full sentences and include a verb and end with an exclamation mark. And questions are sentences that ask something. They usually end with a question mark. Both exclamations and questions can begin with how and what, so look out for that. Both exclamations and questions can include a verb. However, some differences. Exclamations and not questions end with an exclamation mark. An exclamation mark is usually to express surprise, wonder, or feeling, okay? And questions, however, do not do that. Questions are not exclamation marks end with a question mark. So you've got to think about that, okay? So if you're asking a question, you must include a question mark. Okay, I'm going to draw those. So an exclamation mark symbol, and a question mark looks like this. A bit tricky, okay, like that. And you'll have seen those before. Also, questions need an answer as they are asking something. Exclamations, however, do not, okay? And as I've already told you previously, exclamations show or express or exclaim shock, surprise, or wonder at something. However, questions do not. So you've got to think carefully about those when you're using them in your writing. Okay, so today you're going to do some research. That means you're going to find out some information. And we're going to learn about butterflies. And once you've collected that information, you're then going to create a poster in your literacy book. So let's have a look what jobs we need to do. Okay, a little bit tricky for me to play the video on screen because you won't be able to hear them, you'd only be able to see the pictures. So what I have done is I have popped those links to those videos on the blog, so you need to look for them. So if you look at Monday's literacy, and then underneath you'll be able to see the links to the videos. There's two or three videos here that you will need to watch carefully to give you some ideas. Okay, so you may want to pause the video here and come back after you watch the videos and carry on with the next bit of your learning. Okay, so here are some facts about butterflies that I found, that I did research about. The life cycle of a butterfly is in 4 different stages. For example, egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. Most butterflies, missed an half there. Most butterflies don't have a very long lifespan. That means they don't live for very long, okay? Butterflies have 4 wings. Now, I didn't know that. I always thought they only had 2. They eat nectar, just like bees. That's what they like. The largest butterfly in the world is the female Queen Alexandra's birdwing, which has wings that are 25 centimeters long, which is quite big. Butterflies can taste with their feet. They don't really have a tongue. Butterflies can only fly in heat and not in cold weather. And butterflies exist everywhere except in Antarctica. Now there are many more facts that I could have included, but it would have taken me too long. So I'm going to ask you to do the next job for me. Okay, you're going to look at the videos that are on the blog, so hopefully you'll have watched those by now. Then I want you to think about these questions when you are doing your research. You might want to write these questions down. Unfortunately, I don't think I put these in your learning booklet, but however, you can just write these down if you wanted to. Okay, so questions and things to think about. So you can use the internet at home and think about, what are butterflies? What do butterflies eat? Where do butterflies live? Where's their habitat? Okay, another word for where they live. How many stages are there in the life cycle of a butterfly? And any other interesting facts that you can think of. Okay, so 4 or 5 different things there for you to think about when you're doing your research. Okay, so you can type those questions into Google and see what answers you can come up with. Okay. And then what I want you to do is, so you can make notes on a piece of paper if you want to, not in your literacy book, just on a piece of paper if you wish to, okay? But then you can use that information then to create a poster. Now, you already have a sheet stuck in your literacy book, and it's got your learning objective in it. So what I'd like you to have a look at is using that information that you're going to research to create a poster. So here's some of my waggles, so what a good one looks like. By no means are they perfect, but they are just some ideas, just so that you know what you can do. So here's a poster. So posters give us information. They're usually quite bright, exciting. They have lots of colour, pictures and information. Sometimes they may be in a bullet point, sometimes in a sentence. So different combinations. So here's one. So this one's called The Life Cycle of a Butterfly. Again, it's got this little snippets of information about it. Sorry, it's not too clear on my screen for you to see, but hopefully you'll have a copy in your literacy home learning book, so you can see it on there. Okay, then I've got this one here, and I'll also pop this on the blog for you if you want to use it. I've only just discovered it. Looks really good though, so you can use this information and then to create your poster. Okay, so use those questions that we've just looked at. So that's what you're researching, what you're going to find out. Okay, and then once you found out that information, then I want you to have a go at doing your own poster. You can include pictures, but I want to see some writing in there. Okay, can you make sure if you are doing your pictures, can you only colour them in if you're using pencil crayons or colouring pencils? Okay, please do not use felt tip pens, as it smudges your work when you close your book. And it just makes everything look unneat. So have a little think about that. If you don't have any colouring pencils at home, then that's fine. You can just leave it blank, but you can just draw your pictures in pencil. That's fine. Okay. So remember to draw your pictures in pencil first and then colour them in. But I want to see some writing. So I want to. Next week when we do your marking, I want to be able to read your research on what information you have found out. Now you also have, and it's a little bit tricky for me to show you there, I've also included this in your in your literacy learning booklets, some sentence starters. So did you know? An interesting fact is, are you aware? Unbelievably. So you can use those different sentence starters, especially red and orange group, as you are used to doing those sentence types. So have a go at using those, okay, so when you're writing or creating your own poster. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Butterflies. What do you know about butterflies? It can be anything and everything you like, but that's all I want you to focus on, not other animals or anything like that, or other insects. We're just looking at butterflies. Remember, if you need any help, you can ask your grown-up to send us an email, and we'll be happy to explain things via email. Or if you're really struggling, then we can phone you, okay, and explain everything to you. So hopefully everything should be in your learning pack to help you. Okay, that's it for me now, so I shall speak to you tomorrow. Bye.